Hello, everybody. I'm Anne Heasly, Program Manager for Policy and Planning at Sustainable Jersey. I'm very excited to be here today to talk to you about the Gold Star standard in water, and even more excited to let you know that on our website, you can actually find the Gold Star standard now. It's been posted and it's up and it's available for you to use. So let me just move one box here that's kind of in the way, and we'll keep rolling. So this afternoon, we're going to go through, we're going to talk about the Gold Star standard, which is really another additional recognition that municipalities can pursue. And then we're going to talk about, why are we talking about water? And then we'll explore some of the tools that are already up on our website that you can use to help you achieve sustainable water in your community. We'll talk about, are we asking too much? And then we'll end up with you hopefully telling me what you're inspired to do after this presentation. So why are we talking about water? And more importantly, what can a municipality do? What's the role of a municipality in creating a sustainable water system? We know that municipalities are dealing with a range of water issues, from the legacy of lead pipes for water service lines to the harmful algae blooms that have been popping up each summer because of more rainfall and more runoff, and these harmful algae blooms shut down the lakes, and so you can't use you can't use them for swimming or fishing. You can't even let your dog play in the water. And we also know that you're dealing with increased flooding due to more frequent and heavy rains. And all of these water issues impact the quality of life for New Jersey residents. From flooded basements to loss of income due to water and recreational uses of water to, harmful effects of lead in your drinking water. And we know these events aren't going to go away. Over the last 50 years, according to the National Climate Assessment, as you see on this map, the Northeast region of the United States has seen the highest percentage increase in heavy rainfall events. And these events are often localized, and because they're localized, they don't impact a large area, which means they don't often receive a disaster designation, which means there's more responsibility for the municipality to help clean up these local flooding events. So Sustainable Jersey, in its State of the State report, identified an overall goal for our water work. We want to have clean and safe drinking water, and we're interested in water quality that's good not just for human use, but also for species. And we want that water infrastructure to be resilient and to really provide for our needs. And we want access to water to be fair, fairly distributed. So we've developed a number of tools to help in addressing water and the local water issues. We have about a dozen actions that'll help you move towards a more sustainable water system. And they're found in different categories of our actions. So we'll talk about that as we go along, but I just want to spend a minute talking about actions. So what are actions? That's really the tools and guidance that Sustainable Jersey provides to municipalities. And in the action, we talk about what the action is, its purpose, and the points that a municipality will get for undertaking the action. We talk about why it's important and how it contributes to sustainability. Talk about who in the community should be involved, and give you an idea of how long it'll take and what it'll cost and what to do and how to do it, like a recipe. And then we tell you what you need to submit for us to, really ensure that you did complete the action. And then we have spotlights, which are, really looking at what other municipalities have done in New Jersey, because we know people like to see how other towns have done things. And, it's really good to sort of copy or modify something that you've seen another town do. And then we provide resources, which really look at, sources of information or other things that you're going to need to do the action. So one of the issues we know you're dealing with is concerns about the quality of your drinking water. And drinking water, how it comes into your municipality, is really unique to where you live in your community. So one part of your town might be getting its water from a water purveyor or water system, and other parts of your community might be relying on wells, private wells, to get drinking water. So we have two actions that we released about a year ago, and you can find these actions in our health and wellness category. So if you go to our website and you go to the actions page and you click on health and wellness, you can scroll down and find these two new actions: private well outreach and testing, and removing lead in drinking water. And you can thank Maureen, because she recently updated these actions. And so now there's information in these actions on how they contribute to the Water Gold Star. So when you're thinking about these actions and which ones you might want to do in your community, if your municipality is older than, has a lot of homes that are older than 1986, and folks are using water from water systems, you might want to look at the removing lead in drinking water action. If you have a lot of private wells in your municipality, you might want to look at the removing lead, the private well outreach and testing action. And, as I said, you could have both of those kinds of water, drinking water sources being delivered to residents in your municipality. So you might want to undertake both of these actions. So as it mentions on the slide, this action is encouraging municipalities to reduce lead in drinking water by education, promotion of testing, and it provides guidance on tools that you can use, such as development and adoption of an ordinance. So one of the things to note as you undertake this action, that municipalities' ability to address lead in drinking water is through your public health code. So that's why this action resides in our health and wellness suite of actions. And it's a variable point action, 10, 20, or 40 points total. And we have the variable points or tiers to allow a municipality to sort of decide how far along they want to go, or how deeply they want to delve into this topic. And maybe, initially you come in at tier 1, and we hope that maybe with time you might try to accomplish tier 2. So this action focuses on education and testing in tier 1. So we're asking you to do some outreach on lead, and also provide for testing of lead for residents to test their drinking water. Tier 2 is to put in an ordinance that says if there's a change of residency, either by a sale of a home, or if it's leased out or a rental unit, that there's a test before that happens. Tier 3 is that same type of ordinance, but it's a stronger ordinance. So you can do this. The strength is in, if there's something found, like if there's lead found, then you remediate it. So that's a stronger ordinance. So, we're not asking you to do 2 ordinances. We're saying either tier 1 and tier 2, or tier 1 and tier 3. And, as I said, the tool, the action, the tools that we have, the guidance tells you who should be involved. And in this one, in addition to your green team and environmental commission that are likely involved, you'd probably want to get a local health official, and your municipal water utility would be really helpful to get on board. And if you're going to develop an ordinance, then obviously you're going to need your governing body and your local attorney. The other action is the private well outreach and testing. Again, this is a variable point action, 10, 15, 20, 25 points. And it allows you to sort of decide how far you want to go in sort of establishing sustainability through the different tier structure. And so in this one, you have to do tier 1 before you could do tier 2 or tier 3. And tier 1 is developing a community well testing report. And we have a lot of guidance in the action on how to do it. It's simply, you're going to a website that the DEP maintains of wells that are tested, and you're just going to compile a report for your municipality. And then we have guidance on if arsenic is an issue in your community, and that keeps coming up in the well testing reports that are on the website. It's generalized data. It doesn't show private wells. It generalizes it, and you can sort of see what's going on in your area. And if you see that arsenic's an issue, then we have information on how to remediate that. So the idea is to pull together this report and share it in your community. And then tier 2 is to use that information to partner maybe with a watershed organization, or to promote by the municipality well testing. And then the third tier is to go ahead and adopt an ordinance that requires any kind of change of, if there's a change in property, either ownership or rental, that the water is tested and remediated. So as I mentioned, you might want to partner with a watershed organization. Raritan Headwaters, I know, partners with a lot of municipalities to provide low-cost testing of water. So we also know that you're dealing with flooding. And this map is from Conservation Blueprint, and the purple is showing you areas with impervious cover. And we know that impervious cover is a major influence on stream water quality, and it also contributes to flooding. So impervious cover is those paved areas, roads, rooftops, all of those things generate stormwater in your municipality. And so we have a couple of actions that really focus in on how to deal with stormwater. And the first is the Enhanced Stormwater Management Control Ordinance. Many of you know that DEP last year, I guess in March of 2020, changed the requirements for a stormwater management control ordinance. And this is an ordinance that every municipality in New Jersey has. And DEP revised the guidance of it in March of 2020, and it gave you till March of 2021 to pass that ordinance. And we know that many of you did, and we know that some of you are still working on that. And this action provides you points for the more stormwater that you manage, the higher level, the more points you get, basically. And it relies on guidance from two model ordinances. New Jersey Future and the Watershed Institute both have developed really excellent enhanced stormwater management ordinances. So these are enhanced, because that meaning they go beyond the DEP requirements, and that's how we'll give you points, if you go beyond what you're already required to do. And if the action links you to the resources on New Jersey Future as well as the Watershed Institute, and those both give you model ordinances. They explain what language you need to include and why you need to include it. So it explains, like, let's say if you're a municipality that has pretty much already developed and you're seeing a lot of redevelopment and you're concerned that that's not big enough to trigger stormwater rules. So there's guidance in there on how to change the amount of stormwater that triggers review. So it's really, it provides you with a lot of guidance to do more than is required by DEP. And we just posted this, so I'm looking forward to seeing if some municipalities will come with some examples. The next, so that enhanced stormwater management control ordinance is looking at development and managing stormwater in future development. But to think about the existing impervious cover and how to reduce that in your community, what's out there now, and to maybe change the amount of impervious cover, we have two actions: green infrastructure planning and green infrastructure implementation. And the actions are similar, like the planning action is really about planning. So what we ask you to do is develop impervious cover assessment, develop an action plan on what you want to try to reduce in the short term, and then a strategic plan, what you want to, how you want to reduce and how much you want to reduce in the long term. The green infrastructure implementation action really looks at implementation, like doing some impervious cover reduction. So you get points if you do 2 demonstration projects where, like, you're installing a green roof or a rain garden. And then if you do a certain percentage of your short-term goal, you get points, and you get more points if you do a percentage of your longer-term goals. So the more implementation you do, the more points you get. Another thing that we know that is important is access to water. And as I said, we want to make sure that water resources are universally affordable and fairly distributed. And we know that municipalities don't have a lot of ability to change the water pricing structure in New Jersey. If your municipality is managing your water system, they could do that, but that's not the majority of the municipalities. But we do know that you play a really important role in access to water. And most of you have done that through your open space plan. And that allows you to really think about where access to water is in your community, and to help think about where you might want to acquire more open space. So to that end, we recently updated our open space plan action, and we're providing points for municipalities that undertake an open space plan and adopt it as part of their master plan element. That's an existing action, but we provided some more guidance on how to do that and think about water and access to water. And one of the spotlight towns in that action update was Camden and their open space plan. One of the things that they looked at was access to water, and how open space can really reduce the impact of heat islands in their community, and how those same green areas can accommodate green infrastructure. So they really intentionally looked for additional features in open space, not just areas that will provide for recreation or steep slopes. They really intentionally mapped and identified areas that will help them with green infrastructure and heat island impact reduction and access to water. So it's a really, excellent open space plan, and I urge you to check it out. So that's a lot of tools, and that's not all of them. Are we asking too much? Water is complex. We have a lot of actions. We actually want to develop some more. We have ideas for a riparian buffer ordinance action, and maybe a septic action, and some other things to help fill out the kinds of things that we know municipalities can do to help create a sustainable water system. And I recently heard that Dr. Rochelle Walensky, our director of CDC, had this plaque on her desk. And I think it's helpful to remember that, yes, hard things are hard. And to help you with that and help you address these hard things, a couple of years ago, Sustainable Jersey convened a Water Gold Task Force. And that's a group of experts from nonprofit, watershed organizations, academic institutions, utilities, and all of us came together to develop the Gold Star standard in water for Sustainable Jersey. And I really appreciate all the time those people put in, because you know, we had this idea that we wanted to create a Gold Star standard that really looked holistically at water, not just at stormwater, not just at access to water, not just flooding. We wanted to really think about water in all its forms. And but we know that's a challenge, because you know, there's over 582 water systems providing water, drinking water to people in New Jersey, over 260 wastewater systems. And then you map that over municipal boundaries, thousands of miles of river or shoreline, lots of lakes, ponds. So, you know, water and the resources that you have, the water resources, as well as the governance of water, is really specific to your municipality. So we really tried to come up with an approach that really looked at the different communities and really address the differences in them, and allowed each community to develop their own path to water. Let's see. So one of the building blocks of the Gold Star standard is the completion of a new action, relatively new. I think it's been up since maybe January. And it's called the Municipal Water Story. And the idea here is that we want you to take stock of water and water issues in your community. And the way you would do that is to develop a narrative about water, how it comes into your community, your drinking water, your stormwater, your wastewater, and the sort of role that, and the water resources, and how that defines your community. And also, you know, some of the issues that you know that are found in your community. And then we want you to take that out and do a public engagement process where you sort of add to that narrative by reaching out to residents. Because while a map may show impervious cover and you might have an idea of where localized flooding is, residents know which road routinely floods when there's, you know, a hard rain, or they know the best place to go fishing that's really important to protect. So we want to sort of enhance that narrative with public engagement, and use that public engagement to identify issues and priorities for your work in your community. And fortunately, we had a volunteer, Donna Liu, who took an early draft of the Municipal Water Story action. And as part of her Enviro Steward project, she worked with Sustainable Princeton and did a Princeton Water Story. And on World Water Day, the Watershed Institute posted a video that about Donna and her Princeton Water Story. And in that video, I will note that Donna offers to help others create their water story. But I gave a link there to the full Princeton Water Story, which is about 40 minutes long on YouTube. And you can also access it through the Sustainable Princeton website. And so Donna and Princeton are now working on that sort of public engagement component, where they're working to enhance the story and get feedback, developing a list of issues and prioritizing those. Another idea, this was something that Deptford did in South Jersey. They gave residents a ball jar to fill it with water from a source that was important to them and had them write a story. So, this wasn't done as part of a municipal water story, but it was a really intriguing idea and a way to get public engagement. So when you read the guidance in the municipal water story action, you'll see it's kind of broad because we really want municipalities to really think about ways to engage the public on this municipal water story in order to help identify those issues and prioritize the work that you will do next. This is an entry-level action. It's open to any municipality, whether you're going for the Water Gold Star or not. But if you're going for the Water Gold Star, of course, we're asking you to do more. And for 5 additional points, we're asking you to develop what we call a navigational path. So, what you're doing there is you're taking those issues that you've identified, like concerns about drinking water, and identify a couple more actions that you will do as part of your application for Water Gold in the next certification cycle. And thanks to the support of New Jersey American Water, Randy announced this at the opening session yesterday, and I just want to remind you that we have a technical assistance opportunity for municipalities that are in the New Jersey American Water Service area, where we will provide technical assistance for one community to develop their water story. We had that one pilot with Donna, but we want to get more feedback and really update our guidance based on working with a municipality to develop a really great example of a municipal water story and use that to provide guidance to other municipalities. And we are seeking more funding to broaden this kind of technical assistance. We don't have that yet, but anyway, you can find information about this grant on our grants page. There's a link to how to apply and more information about this opportunity. And the deadline is June 24th. So the Gold Star Standard in Water, which Randy also announced yesterday, we did try to make it flexible, understanding that the water governance and distribution is unique to each municipality. So if you're going to pursue the Gold Star Standard in Water, we're asking you to have completed 4 required actions, and those are the environmental resource inventory, because we know that's really important to developing your municipal water story. And in that water story, we're asking you, like I mentioned, to create a navigational path. So say what 2 additional actions you're going to do. And then we also, as you're applying, ask you to already have done 2 additional actions, one which we call high impact and 1 additional. These 2 additional actions are up to your municipality. The high impact ones are ones that we know if you undertake them, you're going to make a difference in water. So, and we ask you to do them to a certain tier level. Once you've done all that and you've prepared your navigational path, you submit your Gold Star application during the regular certification cycle. Here's the suite of current actions that allow you to work towards Water Gold. The green ones are the required ones. The pink ones are the high impact actions. And you'll note on the column on the right, it says what tier level you need to do that action to. And then all of the actions that are remaining actions are ones that you can choose from to fill out your 4th action. So once you have that, there's an application for the Gold Star, and that really is in your municipal dashboard. There's a Gold Star application. It resides in the Gold Star section of our website. And basically you're filling out a checklist that shows the actions that you've completed. And if you've already completed an action and the points are still available to you, you can count it towards your water goal submission. So a lot of municipalities have done the environmental resource inventory. I believe that lasts for 10 years. So many of you might have an existing water resource inventory, not saying that you have to do a new one. You can use that to help you build out your municipal water story. You might have done green infrastructure implementation. So, if you've done it to the correct tier level, then you can go ahead and use that if the points are still available to you in your application for Water Gold. Once you submit it, I do want to note that one of the things that Randy announced yesterday was we have changed the eligibility. Any municipality that's either bronze or silver in our program is allowed to apply for Gold Star. Previously, you had to be a silver certified community, but now if you're bronze and you want to focus on water and get that Gold Star, you can do it. So we've changed that requirement. And the Gold Star will last for 3 years.